Now, throughout the course, we have really focused on ensuring that you and your dog are as stress-free as possible. But one caveat to all of this is that it requires you to really watch your dog's body language closely to make a determination of whether they are comfortable or uncomfortable. And there's an advanced version of this where actually you can teach your dog to essentially tell you whether they're uncomfortable, which is a much more salient stimulus than watching their dog's body language. With Gus, maybe we didn't care so much because he was an older greyhound. My other dog, Stolly, on the other hand, is a little bit less predictable than Gus was. And so an advanced step for the cooperative care in which you're already engaging is to train one of these behaviors. One option is for Stolly, we have trained him to keep his head on the floor, and if he raises it, then that's our signal we're going too quickly. You can also check out Chirag Patel's bucket game, where essentially you train your dog to look at an object, in this case a bucket, and if they do that, they get treats, and if they are uncomfortable enough to look away from the bucket, then that tells you something. Like they're uncomfortable enough to not get their treat, which signals to you that you are going too fast, something is uncomfortable, you need to take a step back. And so what I want to show you here with Stolly is how you would just start one of these options. So here I'm starting the bucket game. I have a bucket, it's full of treats. You look it up online, but the way you start it off is as long as the dog looks at the bucket for like a split second, they get a treat. And after a couple of sessions, what you will find is that you can increase the duration. So they look at the cup for a second, they get a treat. Then they look at it for 2 seconds and they get a treat. And then they look at it for 3 seconds and they get a treat. And if they ever look away, then that timer sort of restarts again. And so over time, you can build up a duration of looking at this bucket in order to get access to treats. And you can incorporate that, of course, really nicely because most of your dogs, as we've already talked about, will be lying down. And so I might put Stolly here in his nail trimming position, which is on his side. I have the bucket in his visual space here. And I'm going to just continue my bucket game. So he looks at the bucket. You'll notice it's getting for a little bit longer and longer durations. Then he's going to get access to these treats. And again, you would do this over multiple sessions. This will not take you a single session for sure. And you'll train the bucket game in the absence of any nail trimming. And then once you're ready, then you can start incorporating the nail trimming steps that we've already talked about into your bucket game. So you've got your bucket out here, your dog is in their nail trimming position, you have all your tools ready to go, and you're going to start with step number 1 here, which is you just touch the dog's paw for a second, and as long as they watch the bucket while you do it, instead of watching your hand, they get a treat. If they had lifted their head, you would maybe take a step back, maybe you wouldn't touch the nail, you would like reach towards the nail and not actually touch it. And again, I'm going to do this very quickly in this one session because Stolly's pretty good with this training at this point. This might take you several sessions. Each of these steps might take you a session of training. So touching the paw, holding the paw, touching the nail trimmer to the paw. And again, I'm watching him very closely. If at any point in time he looks away from that bucket, he doesn't get a treat, but I also am going to stop what I am doing. You'll notice he's doing quite well here. He hasn't looked away from that bucket yet. And that's because we've done a good amount of training on this. So again, this will be a couple of sessions worth of training for you, if not multiple sessions. And that's okay. Everything's going to go slowly. You are both going to be comfortable. And this is a really nice signal to your from your dog that they are comfortable. And the nice thing about that is they now have a way to tell you that they're uncomfortable as opposed to, let's say, biting you. So anyways, right there, you saw I did not touch him until his head was back down, which is his way of saying, Mom, I'm ready to go. Did a little bit of nail trimming there. He got through it. The head raised, but it was after I was done, so that's okay. And there's going to be a trial in here where I do this. He raises his head while I'm doing it, and I stop when I'm doing. That's his way of saying I'm uncomfortable. I wait for him to put his head back down, and I trim again. If he had continued to keep his head up or walked away, I would have said, gee, this is too difficult. I need to take a step back. And what I want you to remember is if your dog raises their head or looks away from the bucket multiple times, it may seem, frustrating, like it's not moving quickly enough. But you have to remember that that's a great data point to you. It's not a failure, but a success that your dog is able to communicate their needs.